So, Detroit is in the news again. It's unfortunate, and so just wanted to share my thoughts on that because it's all over the news and here in Detroit. And more importantly, as I've mentioned before, starting off this new year with GM news, I mentioned that Ford was going to be down the line. It was already in talks of actually happening. And then Chrysler, of course, is not going to be far away if they are not already doing some shakeup. But in regards to this whole Ford laying off 7,000 workers by August. And so I appreciate, I got a couple emails with the articles and whatnot. So I appreciate you guys sending it to me. And so, and having read through a couple articles, and the whole restructuring process is due to, as I mentioned before, companies aren't profitable, people aren't financing as much, and therefore they're not really profitable. And so where does this go from here? I'm really concerned about my city as well as just this country in general. But yet, as I mentioned several weeks ago, Detroit is the backbone, the anchor of the automotive sector. And if we're not making cars, if people aren't buying cars, and we're not shipping cars around the world, then there is no automotive manufacturing sector. And so what I've noticed is a growing trend, especially with GM and now Ford, that the whole goal is to trim off some of the fat, in a sense. As one of the articles mentioned, that they've grown too big, they've taken on too much, they want to chop down from the top and bring it on down, and letting go a lot of probably higher ups in the organization with the hopes of that helping. But one thing they mentioned in reference to Ford is that there's going to be $11 billion worth of shakeup / restructuring, of which this current layoff, according to what I read, of 7,000 workers and closing, a plant in Russia, a plant in Brazil, a plant in some other country, equates to about 7,000 between now and August. And that, is only approximately $1 billion worth of restructuring that they're going to talk about, that they're going to actually be able to do. So that leaves, another 10 billion. So where does that 10 billion come from? So does that come from cutting back, as far as their expectations on, or chopping down some of their line of cars and trucks, or what? And so I imagine that this 7,000 employees, which doesn't include the blue collar workers, those that are actually in the plants, using their hands to put these cars together, that's not even been mentioned yet. And then a while back, someone actually commented on a video mentioning about, Mike, you're so much doom and gloom. Did you not see the article saying that, I think it was Ford is going to add, I think it said 5,000 new jobs or something, somewhere in Metro Detroit? And my comment was, 5,000 probably contingent workers, making the bare minimum what people will take, and it's going to be contract type work. It's not going to be like actual employees of Ford, in my opinion. And so once again, finding out about 7,000 white collar jobs or higher ups being offered a buyout between now and August definitely doesn't help that narrative of Ford looking to add more jobs and to build and stuff like that. So I don't see that coming. But what I do see coming, unfortunately, it will be more layoffs. Just because if you think about, this tariff situation, another part of the article is that they've had higher costs in steel and aluminum, which they've had to outsource to other places outside of where they probably would typically go. But at the end of the day, who's buying cars? I know right at this current moment, apart from just keeping the car you have, fixing that thing up, and just trying to stay out of debt will be your best option, as opposed to going out and buying a brand new car that's already extremely overpriced. It's just amazing at the cost of these vehicles nowadays, with all the bells and whistles, whatever. But yeah, at this current moment, if you're aware of how things are slowing down, things are changing, I'm more so concerned with how to buckle down and just focus on things that I can actually control, which is basically generating and using what I generate to actually put it into things that produce and will maintain and help me to persevere through these tough times that are underway and that's coming. to hell with buying a new car. So I think the whole motto of having a new release every year, I don't foresee that being something that's going to actually stick much longer, because once again, who's really going to be wanting to go into debt for a vehicle pretty soon? And so we're seeing now, you factor in all types of other articles, we got, all-time highs of delinquencies on car notes. I think it's in a million or 2 million people behind on their car note, which lets me know that they can't afford a car in the first place. And so, yeah, man, get you a nice used vehicle. I mean, this is just my opinion, but yeah, I personally would rather drive a used vehicle like I do now and get my weight up. Use all that disposable income to get my weight up, get heavy, and put it in things I think is going to grow. But that's another subject matter. But for laying off people, I'm not surprised. I believe more is going to come, especially if they're only laying off 10% of their workforce at a time where people aren't really looking to buy cars. They're not going to be profitable again, just because the car industry, the car boom of being able to come out with all these new cars with bells and whistles and pump it out to the uninformed public that can't afford it, those days are done. But yet, once again, this is my opinion, but I'm curious to find out what you think. I figure I would just shoot this little quick video because a couple of people have commented on the Ford layoff, so I'm aware of it, and I'm sure by the end of this week I'm going to hear more about it. And so as of this week, there will be 900 people that will be escorted out of the office. And so just put yourself in the shoes of the 7,000 current or coming that's being offered a buyout, as well as just getting that email today at 9 a.m. in the morning saying that, hey, looks like we're going to have to do some restructuring. That means your department or you might be included. Yeah, like that's just not a good position to be in. But here's something else to think about. And if you are, no matter what sector you're in, if you are in a sector that produces goods and services primarily that aren't a necessity for everyday life, if it's something that is more of a luxury, more of a toy, doesn't really add much value, and it probably will be impacted by this whole tariff situation. And therefore, I would never think that you couldn't be the person that get that type of email in your inbox one day about a company restructuring. So with all that being said, as I've mentioned before, I think we're all going to be forced into looking outside of our normal 9-to-5 paradigms to generate and to earn in the days ahead. So I've had many guests on before talking about diversification and just having as many irons in the fire as you can. So as far as me, what I tell my family is that you don't want to be dependent solely upon one job. So if there's anything you can do, I think everyone should be hustling on the side, doing whatever it is that can help generate and bring in a little bit extra, just because I think it's going to be needed in the days ahead. So that's just my 2 cents, my little quick take. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. And I'll definitely keep an eye on this Ford situation, because there's no way I cannot, given that this is my city. So other than that, be blessed. See you guys later. Peace.